Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the Son of David, the Forgiver of sins. If the Father in heaven showed his son Black Ops 7's campaign, I would be most certainly sure he would have come to this earth today instead of 2,000 years ago. Now that I think about it, he is meant to come back for the apocalypse, so maybe that arriving soon will be apparent after this tragedy. So I don't really know where to begin with this, to tell you the truth, so I think I'll just give a general opinion about the entirety of the game. First off, the zombies. It's pretty fun. The Easter egg is a bit long, but I don't mind. The boss, well, he is just an Elden Ring boss, to be fair. Like, he is probably one of the most difficult bosses I have ever faced in my life. Right, I am so ready to take this bitch down. How hard can he be? Overall, the mode is pretty great, especially with curse mode. I enjoy it, and if you were planning on only playing the zombies, I'm sure you will have fun at it too. The multiplayer is also quite decent. The maps are pretty fun, the guns are nice to shoot, the time to kill has gotten an improvement since the beta, and with no default attack sprint, the game is a lot more calmer. Not to mention the lack of skill-based matchmaking exposing all the kids who cannot play the fucking game. Overall, I think the multiplayer is also pretty great. Now that I think about it, the whole game itself is pretty great. I am quite impressed with it, to tell you the truth. The campaign, though, it really brings down the rating. Like, take a look at this rating that has been floating around on Twitter. The ranking is pretty high among reviewers, but the user rating is so low. Like, horribly low. I guarantee you the campaign is the biggest reason here. Like, I know it's not the zombies, a lot of people enjoyed the map, like, it's really the only thing carrying these games anymore. So, where to begin talking about this? I seriously do not know. There is so much wrong with it that it's just a cluster of where to pick out the problems. So, first things first, the story doesn't really add up. We're going to start small here because this is more of a minor thing. The people who made this story obviously didn't play Black Ops 2, the prequel to Black Ops 7 on the timeline. Now, before I get heavily into it, I think it's obvious that there will be spoilers. So, if you didn't play it yet but want to, here's your warning. So the canon ending to Black Ops 2 is that you spare Harper and kill Menendez. The riots at the end of the game begin, and now a corporation known as the Guild acts by trying to prevent something like that from happening again. How? By making a deepfake of Menendez to scare the public into thinking he's back. Unleash a virus around the globe that was the same virus from Black Ops 6's campaign. Then sell their product to protect the people from the virus they released to turn a profit. However, one man is in their way. You know him, you love him, David Mason. He and his team go out to investigate and to stop the Guild from winning. Who was in his team? Well, you got someone new, 50-50. Don't know why she is named that, I guess it's because half of her is human and the other half is robotic. Samuels, who was actually in the Secret Service in Black Ops 2 from the mission Cortes Dia in LA protecting the president. And the one and only Harper. Now, because Harper is alive, the part in Black Ops 2 where Fareed gets shot by Menendez means Karma is dead. Oh, wait, she's somehow fucking alive. So now both of them are alive and kicking. Again, more of a minor thing, but it really takes down the storyline in Black Ops 2. Like I said, the people who developed this campaign never played Black Ops 2. Now onto the missions in general. The gameplay is 4 hours long, which ideally it's doubled that for a campaign. I played it all in one sitting and I was not entertained in the slightest. I gave no shit for the story, and even though I played solo, the game acted as though I was doing a squad and didn't actually pause the game when I did so. Then I got kicked for inactivity in a solo game. The missions are all open world, just like Modern Warfare 3. Some of them feeling like a Warzone game. A lot of these maps are also just references or remakes of previous maps from older CODs. For example, you have the Obama, Vorkuta, LA. Hell, I think there were actually more remakes or references to these maps than actual new maps. It all just feels very lazy. All they did was take a bunch of shit from previous games and forced it into this slop. Literally pulled an MW3 campaign with how they added Warzone maps from there and making some sort of story off it. At least in the multiplayer and zombies, the maps are all new, and although some multi-maps are remakes from Black Ops 2 like Express, Hijacked, and Raid, there are more new maps in the multiplayer than there are in the remakes. This is seriously the problem with making these games a year apart. I can't blame the devs for doing this because ultimately they didn't have the right amount of time to do it. I understand it takes a lot more than a simple year to throw something together, especially if it needs to be new. But because they only had a year, they didn't really have the time, I would imagine, to constantly make new maps and a decent story, therefore making this shit. Most of these missions have a boss fight as well because of this virus that's in the story, which is another problem to me. Black Ops stories are understandably psychological warfare, Mason being interrogated for the numbers in Black Ops 1, Menendez playing war games in Black Ops 2, the Frozen Forest in BO3, the brainwashing in Cold War, and the Cradle in BO6 and 7. I greatly think they need to move on from that shit because half of this stuff looks like it came from fucking Stranger Things. And if I'm being honest, out of all the missions I played, I really only enjoyed one of the missions. That being the second to last one where you were trapped in Vorkuta again. Really, I only like this because it's more of a controlled environment and not open world. The only reason for that though is that the whole map is just a remake of the second mission in Black Ops 1. Literally area by area. I did enjoy the zombies being on my side and sort of remaking a Prison Break styled mission again, but as I said, to me, that's like the only mission in the campaign I had a decent amount of fun in despite the remaking from the second mission from BO1. I also think if they were to make a sort of sequel to Black Ops 2, like the previous CODs, you should make decisions to determine the ending of the storyline. For example, in Black Ops 2, you can do all the strike missions, choose to spare Harper and kill Menendez like the canon ending is, and in Cold War, you can choose to help the team you were with throughout the entire game, or betray them after finding out who you really are and what they've done to you. It was so riveting to find out these different endings. In Black Ops 6, you had the options of dialogue, but you kind of had a forced ending to it, which, to be honest, isn't something to complain about. I mean, you didn't make choices in BO1, right? But in these modern CODs, it's more interesting because in the end, you made choices throughout the game to listen to different dialogues and whatnot, which is interesting as fuck. This game, however, there's just nothing. Obviously, this is because it's a co-op campaign, so there's going to be a lot of problems with what I said should be. However, a solution I can present that can work quite well with something like this is a voting system from the players to determine what you want to do. For example, whoever got the antagonist in the end won't choose to kill or capture. Rather, on the left side, like any other info being posted, will allow the team to vote on whether she dies or not. This sort of thing would make the game more interactive between the players and ultimately as teams decide the outcome of the story. But instead, you spare the antagonist because you're a hero, yippee, or some shit, and you cut out to the end with your team like you're some badass or something. You know the devs went for that since they tried to do something like the oil rig on fire in the background, but when you realize that 95% of the gameplay is just your team going through visions, it's just not something really notable to call an accomplishment. Hey Woods, how you doing? I want to die. Okay. Where's the exit? Over there. Cool. Thanks. And speaking of Woods, that dude lasted until the triple digits in life. Even after all the jumping and shooting, the torture, and killing his best friend. And smoking, mind you, that dude couldn't take a break with that. Now, I get that he was built different, but oh my god. I would have wanted to kill myself if I went through all of that shit. Now, after you complete the campaign, you are taken to Endgame, which is pretty much another open world map where you and your team do a bunch of shit, fight a boss, and get rewards. A lot of people seem to enjoy it. Wasn't really my style of gameplay, seeing how I was timed for 45 minutes, so not really a casual run for it. But hey, teach their own, I'm just a guy ranting about a shit campaign. Now, really, I do take this shit sort of seriously because ever since I played World at War as a kid, not able to get Xbox Live to play online, I was deep into zombies and campaign, especially campaign, as a matter of fact. I always enjoyed the storyline and lore the Black Ops series offered, hell, even more than Modern Warfare. But seeing this campaign is really just a punch in the gut for a primary campaign enjoyer like myself. It's rushed, poor in story, and just lackluster gameplay, if lackluster is even the word you want to use here. It's just a complete repeat of 2023's Modern Warfare 3. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much a second Modern Warfare 3 campaign-wise. Again, I am not ragging on the entire Black Ops 7 game. As I said before, the multiplayer and zombies are pretty damn fun to play. The new game modes like Overload, which is pretty much capture the flag, but they had to spice it up somehow. And the 20v20 skirmish is really fun, and I had a blast playing those modes. The zombies is even better, with it being Tranzit inspired, but not really the same thing. On a recent community post I made, I rated Black Ops 7 ironically a 7 out of 10. I was being awfully generous, but the camos look great, and I'm not going to say the game is shit, because of only 1/3 of the entire game bringing it down. There is a small, and when I say small, I mean microscopic vibe to Black Ops 2 again, which I will not take for granted this year. And yes, a lot of people will argue about the nostalgia bait this game gave us, but really a lot of mechanics were changed for the better. Overall though, Black Ops 7 had potential. It was meant to bring a sort of new era where COD may be good again, where everyone could enjoy a simple yet interesting campaign story, where multiplayer would be overplayed, and the zombies some of the best we had seen. All this is due to Battlefield 6 giving them a run for their money with a better multiplayer and campaign, with COD really only being carried by the zombies community. I said in a previous video that it is good to bring competition to the development of gaming so companies can actually make good games. However, potential can only take something like a game so far. Hopefully, with how Battlefield overtook Call of Duty this year, Activision can realize they aren't the top dog anymore when it comes to first-person shooters, or at least realize there's now competition, therefore lacking a monopoly of that genre, and we can actually have decent games again. That's a fucking pipe dream, I know. Shut up. But in the end, this is only what I think, and I ask what you guys think as well. So leave a comment on your take of not only the Black Ops 7 campaign, but also the entire game in general. With that being said, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and join the Discord server for future videos and activities specifically in the server. Follow me on Twitch as well, since I do stream too. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.